Yeah, but I don't think 3.5 changed the world. It maybe changed the world's expectations for the future, and that's actually really important.
Can AI be the ultimate shield against cyber threats? The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency has launched the AI Cyber Challenge, uniting brainiacs and AI and cybersecurity. It's all about crafting smart solutions to keep our vital systems safe from online baddies. Microsoft's on board too, offering teams the latest AI goodies from Azure. When it comes to critical stuff like power grids and banks, the risks are sky high. Look at places like Ukraine, where cyber trouble has been brewing. By backing the AI Cyber Challenge, we're taking a stand to defend our nation's vital systems from digital danger. From financial hubs to waterworks, we're gearing up to keep the lights on and the data safe. It's like a super smart toolbox full of AI magic. We're sharing this magic with teams who are taking on some big cyber challenges in a 2-year showdown. Teams get to use Azure to build their cyber defense systems. They can tweak our fancy language models to fit their needs perfectly. They're giving participating startups a bunch of goodies like up to $150,000 in Azure credits. Meanwhile, they get access to cool stuff like Azure and OpenAI, along with over $200,000 worth of Microsoft business products. We're teaming up with DARPA and you to tackle cyber threats head-on with top-notch AI. Did you hear about the latest scoop on Google's fancy language model Gemini? Well, it turns out that there are some sneaky flaws in it that let bad guys mess with its responses. Gemini Pro and Ultra versions are not as bulletproof as we thought, and these vulnerabilities allow attackers to play tricks on the model by slipping in special instructions. This could mean it starts spitting out wrong info, snooping into secret stuff, or even doing nasty stuff like running malicious code. By giving the model a fake task and slipping in a secret code, they've got access to all sorts of confidential info. According to Hidden Layer, these shenanigans are a big deal. It's super important to lock down these language models to stop these attacks from causing chaos. We're talking about protecting the truth, keeping data safe, and preventing all sorts of trouble. Okay, let's break down some tech talk here. So here's this thing called an LLM, which is like a super smart language model. It's got some holes in its security fence, and sneaky folks can peek inside the LLM's brain by playing around with its requests. They use tricky words to sneak past the protection and get access to all sorts of secret stuff. They can even make the model create fake stories. By giving it a make-believe scenario like a funny election between Bob the Caveman and Bob the Minion, they trick it into something making stuff up, even though it's supposed to be smart enough to know better. What is the deal with Gemini Pro? Well, it's got a weak spot where attackers can keep bombarding it with weird words until it gets confused and spills the beans. Long story short, these tricks show that even the smartest models can be fooled if you know how to play the game. There is this clever trick that messes with how a smart language model works. Normally, it's like a strict teacher keeping your questions separate from their answers. But with a bit of a sneaky effort, attackers can blur the lines and get the model to spill its secrets. Now, let's talk about Gemini Ultra, Google's big shot in the language model world. The mighty Gemini Ultra isn't completely immune to trouble. See, it's got this cool power called reasoning, but clever attackers can still find a way to break through its defenses. One way they do it is with a tricky move called a split payload attack. It's like getting the model to do two things at once, combining a harmless task with a sneaky one. There's also a way to slowly squeeze out secret info from the model by feeding it little by little. It's like getting drops of water from a leaky faucet. By slipping some shady instructions into a shared document, attackers can trick users into spilling the beans or even take control of how they interact with the model. GPT-4, Sam Altman, the big boss at OpenAI, it's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed. He's all about super smart AI stuff, but right now, he's calling ChatGPT, well, not the brightest bulb. Altman called GPT-4 OpenAI's dumbest model that anyone would ever use again. Now, that might sound harsh, but what he means is that while GPT-4 was a big deal when it came out, he's expecting even smarter AI models to come along in the future. So, Altman's comments suggests he's expecting big leaps in AI with each new model blowing away the last one. He's saying, hey, GPT-4 might be cool now, but just wait till you see what's next. When it comes to the cost of running GPT-3, Bellani brought it up, but Altman didn't spill the beans on the actual numbers. Instead, he talked about how giving people powerful tools can lead to amazing things. Altman also talked about what's in store with the next GPT-5 AI model from OpenAI. He hinted that it's going to be way smarter than GPT-4. He said something like, the cool thing about GPT-5 is that it's going to be super smart. During the talk, Altman shared his big dream for AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. He's ready to put down some serious cash, like $5 billion or even $50 billion every year to make it happen. He's only willing to spend if it means we'll end up with a way more good stuff for society than what we spent. He put it like, whether we spend $500 million, $5 billion, or even $50 billion a year, he doesn't mind, as long as we are moving towards making AGI and it's going to benefit society big time. Sure, it's going to cost a lot, but if it's for a good cause, it's worth it. Now, way back in December 1943, two brainy guys named Warren S. McCulloch and Walter Pitts kicked off the AI adventure. They wrote a paper called A Logical Calculus of the Ideas Eminent in Nervous Activity, where they imagined how networks of brain cells could do cool stuff like solving puzzles. It was a big moment in AI history. Back in the day, a guy named Ralph Lilly was all about histochemistry, which is a fancy way of saying he studied how chemicals work in cells. He thought the ideas of McCulloch and Pitts were interesting, but he also felt that they were like making stuff up without any real proof. Later on, when scientists tried to test the ideas from their paper and couldn't prove them right, a guy named Jerome Letman from MIT noticed something cool. Even though the brain science folks didn't pay much attention to McCulloch and Pitts, their ideas sparked something big among a group of people who were getting excited about a new idea called artificial intelligence. Back in the early 1970s, DARPA found out that US aircraft were vulnerable to be spotted and attacked by enemies with fancy new missile systems. These systems were linked up with a radar-guided missile system and could coordinate attacks using advanced radar systems. To tackle this problem, DARPA started a program to come up with ways to make aircraft harder to detect on radar. They tried a bunch of things like changing the shape of the aircraft to reduce radar signals bouncing back, and using special materials to absorb radar waves. They also worked on making the aircraft less visible to the naked eye and canceling out any signals that could give away their position. In the mid-1970s, DARPA took things further and oversaw the development of Half Blue, the first practical stealth aircraft. This eventually led to the Air Force getting their hands on the F-117A stealth fighter, which became operational in 1983. Another cool aircraft called Tacit Blue followed, which could use radar sensors without being easily seen on the radar itself. This set the stage for the development of the B-2 stealth bomber. These stealth aircraft played a big role in important missions like in Iraq during Desert Storm in 1991 and Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. They were also used in Afghanistan and Libya. Alongside stealth planes, the military used other high-tech tools like precision-guided bombs to get the job done. Since then, stealth technology has been used in lots of other military stuff like missiles, helicopters, and even ships. Are you excited for more such AI news? Do let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons.